Hi, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. We got Tuesday, July the 29th, 2025. Beautiful summer day. Hopefully we won't get rained on today. And yeah, we got about 90 degrees. We'll call it upper 80s. Chris, how you doing? Are we streaming okay? Thanks for tuning in here. We'll see if clear the rear here. Yeah, I'm just probably going to do the Riverwalk. We'll see if we get to the West Loop. If I can make enough progress, maybe we'll go over to the Haymarket Monument there on Des Plaines. That's about as far as I can make it in the hour lunch break I got here. But yeah, we're planning on doing Lollapalooza on Thursday starting at this time. I found my wristband. I had a panic in the middle of last night. Hey, Mary Treese there, Julie Reed there. How's everybody doing there? Yeah. And so, there's some motorcycles there zigging and zagging. Hey, look at the flag here, the Old Republic building. Darlene, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm a little early today, but that's okay. Enjoying summertime. Glad to be back in Chicago. And we got all kinds of fun events ahead of us, trying to maintain my energy here. This time of the year, there's always multiple things going on. Yeah, no rain today here. Rain on our parade. Yeah, when I came back yesterday, we went by the Beam, but the Beam was closed off. I made that just for members only because I was ranting and raving about the NFL and the stock market, my usual rants. And then, unfortunately, that violent incident happened in New York City. Of course, I had nothing to do with it. It was a coincidence, and I just didn't want people to mistake my... It all started because I was, about NASCAR going to San Diego and the taking of the commons by corporations, and I mentioned the NFL draft, and I was ranting about that. And then I think that guy yesterday that messed up New York there, Midtown Manhattan, he had a beef against the NFL, but he had mental illness, he had brain trauma, he was making parallels with the concussions that the NFL people have there, and I don't know if he had some himself from football. You got to take that seriously. But the guy is no longer with us either. Took himself out. But here we'll go on to brighter news. Here we'll head down to the Riverwalk, and yeah, let's see what's shaking on the Riverwalk here, Wacker, Michigan, 333 North Michigan building. What time we got? 11:59. Yeah, if I go out in the middle of the Michigan Avenue Bridge, maybe we can catch the Centennial Fountain here. We'll see if we can briefly catch the Centennial Fountain on the hour. Might not be a great view here because it's better from the Columbus Avenue Bridge, but we might be able to see it just briefly before. We're going to head down to the Riverwalk there. If you just joined here, we're in Chicago. And I'm just seeing if the Centennial Fountain's going to do its thing. There it goes. There it goes. There's the Centennial Fountain right on time. There's the boats going through there. So here I saw some of those comments there. I'm just trying to capture the real life there. There's the Centennial Fountain there right on the noon hour. We got it. And we'll head down to the Riverwalk. We're gonna head this way, but yeah, it feels really nice and hot here. But I think we're gonna get some relief after the rain tomorrow. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and should cool down for Lollapalooza here in Chicago. So bear with me here. We're gonna head down the stairs, and we'll go down to the Riverwalk, and we'll see some boats. Man, it touches so many lives here. Hey, look at this pleasure craft there. Look at that nice boat. Heading under the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge. Let's get it here with the nice vintage towers here. Nice summer day there. Just the Chicago River, the Michigan Avenue Bridge, the Tribune, and the Wrigley buildings there. Yeah. So let's see here. What are we missing here? The new normal. What's the new normal? The rain went to Cleveland. Oh, yeah, hard rain's gonna fall. Hey, there's the lower whacker there. I missed it there. I was looking at the comments. It's hard for me to multitask when I'm going down the stairs, looking at comments and trying to film stuff at the same time here. But here, there we go. There's where you get your tickets if you want the First Lady boat rides here. You get the architectural cruise boats here. You go to the ticket office for the First Lady. Wendella's over there. Across, you go underneath the Wrigley building, and then there's also Shoreline's over there. Chicago First Lady, Shoreline, Wendella. You can catch the water taxi there. This is all on either side of the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge. You can catch these things at Navy Pier, over by Ogilvie, train station, Sears Tower, Chinatown. Here comes the Shoreline round in the bend here. We'll get a really nice view. So here, we're underneath the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge, Chicago River here, Chicago Riverwalk. Here comes the water taxi, giddy up, cruising over towards Navy Pier. Yeah, we'll see if the Cubs at least make the playoffs. I mean, right now they got a wild card spot because they lost to Milwaukee. Milwaukee and the Cubs were tied for first place in the NL Central, but the Milwaukee's been on a tear. Cubs had to go up to Milwaukee there, and they lost yesterday. But here, Toast to Chicago Bar and Restaurant. Oh, they're going to start a new restaurant here by the Bridge House here, Toast to Chicago. I guess they're going to use these seats here. That's nice. See, we're under the Trump Tower. She was waving to somebody else there. But here's the community marketplace. There it shows all the neighborhoods of Chicago there. Map of Chicago, there's the Shy Boys. Yeah, the Cubs. So at least the Cubs got the yeah, it's a good matchup there. Yeah, I got to work okay. There's Shy Boys there, Shy Boys Cafe. Look at that. Get the popcorn, nachos, creamsicle. Hey, yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in here. Friends and neighbors from Chicago. Let's catch up to these kayakers. There's some kayakers on the Chicago River. That's nice. Yeah, Patricia, Syed, Houston, Texas, Dave there. How you doing there, darling? So you see where we're at. Chicago Riverwalk here. We'll go by O'Brien's. We got 1204. So let's see how far west we can go in a half an hour here. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the Haymarket or not. It's important to have goals in life. There, O'Brien's here. There's the Jewelers building. Here goes some honkers. Here's some geese flying eastward on the Chicago River there. Yeah, beautiful summer day here, almost 90 degrees. Yeah, taking some photos. Hey, good group of kayakers heading through lunchtime there. Merck's tuning in there. Oh yeah, there was a big group of kayakers yesterday, and I'm sure other people were streaming it there. They're still working on the State Street Bridge. This is the Wabash Avenue Bridge here. And there's a good view back to it. Yeah, the Wrigley building here. Hey, they got the big crane out there on top of State Street. They had this bridge open 2 weeks ago. But, yeah, we'll see if we can catch up to these kayakers here. Hey, you got all these architectural views. There's the Marina Towers there, the corn cobs. It's corn, big lump with knobs. You got the juice. The juice is loose here. Gets cold beer here, Chicago Brew House. Sit by the shores of the Chicago River here. There's a lone kayaker coming the other way. Let's see if anybody's fishing over here. See somebody fishing. Yeah, the Vietnam War Memorial here, the Jewelers Building. See if the sun goes behind there. Hey, they're cleaning the windows. It's really hard with those balconies, but look how they got that scaffolding there with the balconies. There's the kayaker. Hey, how you doing? That's good. Yeah. How you doing? That's good. Hey, how you doing? What a beautiful day to be out kayaking. That's great. Yeah. See, here's some people fishing. There's always some people fishing right here. Yeah, nice photo spot there. There goes Chicago's First Lady going on the other side there. So yeah, they're working on the State Street Bridge there. We'll look at the booms there. Got that section gone there. They're working on the bridge deck there. There goes Chicago's Emerald Lady there, heading on the other side. Yeah, Darlene, thanks for the membership. Thanks for supporting good content here. I really appreciate it. And yeah, consider it like PBS. And you know, support Christopher Dotson and the two he streams New York. We got Chicago. We got good live streamers here in Chicago. And when Christopher visits Chicago, he creates good content for Chicago as well. Here's the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago boat right there. It cleans up the river, that pontoon boat there. And they go through and scoop up the garbage. There's an electric boat heading back into the dock there. So there's where you rent the electric boats there. See how it's going back in there. And there's the attendant there helping them get back into Marina Towers there. Harbor here by City Winery here. It's not as crowded today as it was on Saturday when we were down here for Venetian night. But it's okay for a Tuesday. Just after the noon hour here in the Chicago Riverwalk. 90 degrees, 12:08 in the PM. Yeah, the rain, D. Michael. Got some Michaels in the house there. Michael Anderson, D. Michael. Why do you want to see the Trump Tower? That's the last thing I want to see. You want to see all the empty storefronts at the bottom. Somebody sent me the good video about how the bottom two floors have never been leased out since the building has been built in 2009. And we were like, come on, help make America great there. Lease out the bottom of the two Trump Towers. Everybody talks about how everything's so expensive in Chicago. The reason they're not leased out is the rates they're asking are so expensive that no one can make a business work there. And so they'd rather not lease it out, write it off for tax depreciation. So it looks like a big vacant building at the bottom instead of looking great. And they write it off as depreciation, a real estate trick. So to me, the building's a reminder of how the rich just extract wealth out of our nation. Now, I'm not trying to be anti-Republican, anti-conservative. I'm trying to just, you know, if you own equities, if you own that land, if you own assets, you're doing fine. If you work for a living for a wage, if you rent, we're being screwed, and that's the economy we have. That's capitalism. That's the best system we got. Those that have wealth and assets usually get richer, usually get tax breaks. Our tax code has been skewed towards the wealthy since the inception of income tax. There's all kinds of real estate loopholes. Talk to your lawyer there. He'll give you some tax hedge. Get your money out of the United States, get it to the Cayman Islands, get it into cryptocurrency. How can people be patriotic as the value of the dollar depreciates? And we got presidents of the United States that invest in cryptocurrency that devalues the dollar. It dilutes our monetary. The Federal Reserve knows this. This is not rocket science. You know, there's more money in the world. It's amazing that as an asset class, Bitcoin hasn't sucked as much out of the stock market to impact the stock market. if money wasn't invested in Bitcoin, it would have been invested in the stock market. It helped your 401k. But most people invest in Bitcoin, like me, are worried about the devaluation of our fiat currency. And really, when you bet on cryptocurrency, you're betting on the US dollar's going to decline. And you're trying to do a store of value like gold with cryptocurrency to hedge your loss of value due to inflation. Money becomes worthless, even though, not worthless, it becomes less valuable compared to other currencies. And the stock market appears higher, but it's really no higher because the value of the dollar is lower. So why do you think so many people, smart people, invest in cryptocurrency? They realize we have a debt problem in America. And it's a way to get their debt out of the U.S. currency system, but I'm surprised that the Federal Reserve allows. If you and I would have printed $3 bills, they would have threw me in jail a long time ago. But if I would have started a cryptocurrency, I would have been a billionaire and the Fed would accept it. I don't understand it either, why they accept some competing currencies and they don't accept others. Like states are not allowed to print their own currency, but private individuals are through Bitcoin. Here's Nicholas V. Or, you know, by creating a token cryptocurrency. Here's the electric boats here. Here's Chicago First Lady there. Look at the clock tower there. Here comes the Voyager, the large bars here, shoreline sightseeing. We're keeping pace with the kayakers. The kayakers are going about as fast as we are. Heading down the Chicago River here. Hey, look at that view there. Chicago's First Lady there. Voyager, the large bars there. Cruising. Yeah. Buy Bitcoin and hang out in the Trump Tower. It sounds like a game plan there. You're set for life. You've already won. We're all losers. You're the winners in Trump's America. You got money to buy Bitcoin and buy a condo in the Trump Tower there. There you go. You're living the dream there. Just remember the rest of us when we're panhandling there on the sidewalk, when you step on us and throw your MAGA hat in their face. Because that's what it's about. It's about owning the libs. It's about feeling superior by looking down on other people. And I know that's how the right felt with woke policies. They felt like the whole society was looking down on them. So there was a violent backlash with the this election. And Wall Street was happy to let it happen because they got their tax cut that they already had. It's just the extension of the tax cut. And Wall Street could care less if we divert into fascism because it just means more power for them. It means Wall Street is merged with government. And they'll guarantee that their assets never go down. They'll do everything in their power within the Federal Reserve. Why do you think Trump wants to replace Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve? They want to lower interest rates to refinance the debt. Have the ultimate reserve will lose control over interest rates and the price people are willing for our debt. And that's going to be the real crisis. And there won't be no government shutdown or fiscal conservatives that are not really fiscally conservative that spend just like liberals when they're in office. And that's why Elon Musk is so angry, because he realized they lied to the American public. Look at all the here's the Brown Line heading across Wells Street here. Look at the nice flowers here. We got the flowers floating on the nice dog here. This is the Brews and Bites. This is where we were at for the Venetian night. They had the art on the mart. But I've been seeing, and these are Republican constituencies that are showing up to Republican town halls, the Congress people that voted for the big beautiful bill. And there are veterans that are livid, that are angry, that are being kicked out by paid rent-a-cops. They're kicking out veterans that have served our country because they're angry about their losing their Medicaid and their VA services. My dad's a veteran. While Wall Street and the billionaires and the Bitcoins and the people that like the Trump Tower get all these tax cuts. And we're not going to forget. We're not going to forget who voted this guy in. The Congress is going to have a reckoning there for the next election. And usually in midterm elections, usually it's a bloodbath, a slaughter for whatever incumbent parties in power. So Republicans are getting nervous about maintaining the House. Now, they'll probably maintain the Senate. The Senate's harder to shift. The founding fathers made it hard for the Senate to shift every 2 years, because only a third of the senators are up for re-election. But all the full House, every single House member, and we won't forget Lisa Murkowski and Josh Hawley, and we won't forget Susan Collins. My dad, who is a conservative, my dad is a true conservative. Do not call my dad a liberal. He is a veteran of the Vietnam War. He's a true conservative, religious, social conservative. And he realizes that Trump is not a true conservative. He hijacked the Republican Party. And he is livid at these senators because my dad's on a fixed income. He's not adding to his retirement. He's living off his retirement. He's worried about inflation, as we all should. And he's worried about the cut to Medicaid. Every time Medicaid gets cut, I have a huge family. I have aunts and uncles that are on Medicaid fixed incomes. I'm worried about them. And some of them voted for this, which I don't blame them. That's their right. Everybody's situation is different. People vote for multiple reasons. And so far, so good. The stock market's at all-time high. Everybody's rich. Everybody's happy, right? We still have these violent events that pop up in not just New York City, but all over. And even I'm worried it's going to affect. I really hope and pray there's not political violence, because there's a lot of people that are angry and mentally unstable in this country right now. And I got to be careful with my speech and not to incite anything here. Here's the merchandise mart. Here we're at the confluence. And these are my opinions. I expect your opinions to be different than mine. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a stock market advisor. I'm not an economist. I'm just a guy walking down Chicago River here trying to fill dead airspace. So thanks for just let it float in one ear and out the other. We're having a good time here. Thanks for enjoying the sunshine here. So here, water taxi as soon as possible here. There goes a yellow one. So see, there's Shake a Leg. Look at all these water taxis. So here's the Wolf Point, the confluence here. There, as soon as I like the hat there. He's got the nice cowboy hat. See, that's the yellow Wendella. Looks like that barge is going to hit it, but it's pulling over towards Ogilvie. See, look at everybody sitting out on these lake chairs here, getting the sun here. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing here? Yeah, so let's head up the stairs here. We're all affected by the stock market. You think if there was, okay, let's say in 2009, there was a massive sell-off in the stock market. Huge amount of interest rates went to zero for 10 years. And a bunch of money was bailed out. The banks saved the whole economy. Tim Geithner and everything. We're all affected. We're all affected by the stock market, whether you're invested in it or not. The only reason I'm yelling, I'm trying to talk over the train here. The vast majority of Americans were not invested in the stock market in 1929. And everybody was affected by the crash and the Great Depression. So the vast majority of people in 1929 were not invested in the stock market, but they lost their, a quarter of Americans lost their job. It wasn't until World War II that we were able to get out of it. We have a major debt problem. Why is there so much debt in America, and why is there so much wealth in the Wall Street? That's all I'm saying. It's you know, it's like a lot of the debt, we're borrowing against the future to spend it now, keep our economy strong now. We don't really have a real crisis. Why are we going to zero? It's a manufactured crisis. And that's all I'm saying. I don't expect anybody to agree with my opinion. This is my channel. I might have things wrong. I might have things right. Thanks for your feedback. In the long scheme, it doesn't matter what you and I say. What's going to happen is going to happen, you know. And I acknowledge that. So here, let's go over and let's go see if we can make it to the Haymarket here. We got the light here. We're going under the Lake Street Bridge here, Lake Street Basque Bridge across Chicago River. This used to be Butler Brothers. We talk about it. It was another mail order company similar to Montgomery Ward's and Sears Roebuck, but they eventually got out of the wholesale business. They were the suppliers for the Ben Franklin stores. And so here we're under Lake Street. We'll head over towards Canal Stop here. And hey, maybe we can walk through Ogilvie train station. What time we got here? 12:21. Yeah, 250 Riverside. You got it there. Hey, Michael, thanks for singing a song there. You might be right. I might be crazy. I like that. Don't tell me what to do anymore. This is my life. We'll sing Billy Joel. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone. Wise words from Billy Joel there. Here's the train there. Look at that. Pink line. Hey, look how high the tracks are here. There's a strange little piece of Milwaukee. This is Canal Street. This is see how they converted these to housing. They put all those balconies up there on the old Butler Brothers warehouses there. Hey, the Bronx is tuning in there. Yeah, Darlene, thanks for the gift memberships. I really appreciate that. Thanks for supporting good content and everybody else. And I'm honored, and we'll do Lollapalooza on Thursday. I'll try to tone it down with my lunatic talk about the stock market and interest rates and manipulation. See, people get me going. I know I have to walk past that Trump Tower every day, and every day it leads to discussion because people want me to have the discussion. People bring it up in the comments, and so I'm gonna react to it in real time and give you my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. This is my perspective. I'm kind of an anomaly. I'm not. I'm a strange bird, as you really. Most people know that already. And you actually probably make more money by doing the opposite of whatever I said. So there you go. It would be the George Costanza theory of investing. But here we're underneath the Clinton stop on the green and pink line here. This is named for DeWitt Clinton, not Bill Clinton. DeWitt Clinton, of course, was instrumental in New York State in the 1830s in the construction of the Erie Canal, which linked Chicago and New York. And the growth of Chicago was fueled by New York's investment in the Erie Canal, and then New York land speculators invested in Chicago, especially in the development of the railroad. And then the railroads replaced the canals as the primary means of transit in the hinterland of the United States. And that's what allowed the growth of Chicago, New York City. All these goods were funneled to the East Coast, processed, shipped over to Europe, and created trade with the Midwest and the hinterland, all the farms and cows, the stockyards. Nothing concentrates more than railroads. And that's why we got the loop of Chicago. We got elevated trains. There used to be trolleys. We're kind of on the edge of the West Loop. We are west of the river. It's not, to me, the true West Loop doesn't start until you're west of the highway. But we're going to get close to it. There's a Haymarket over here. We'll go over to Des Plaines here. Try to cross Jefferson here before the light changes. Jefferson Street, named after Thomas Jefferson. That's why they call that the presidential towers. A lot of the streets over here are named after presidents. That's why people get confused about Clinton Street, because it's named after DeWitt Clinton, who was not a president, and Bill Clinton was. But it was named Clinton Street a long time before Bill Clinton was even alive. Here's we're on Lake Street here. There's the Lake Street elevated tracks here in Chicago. We got about 90 degrees. How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago here. So we're on the West Loop here. We're on the edge of the West Loop. There's some new construction here. I'm on my lunch break, so I won't be able to go too far. I know we get requests every day. Go here, go there. Here. I'm just walking. I got to stay close to my office because I got to go back to work at 1 o'clock. Or at least that's my goal. It's important to have goals in life. What's shaking there? Clinton section in Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen. There you go. Yeah, there's a neighborhood in Manhattan called Clinton, Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea. Yeah, isn't that interesting? They named their daughter Chelsea. Here's Des Plaines. So Des Plaines and Lake. So here we'll head, I guess we got to cross the street here because it looks like they're working on this new construction here. So hey, well, look at this new construction here. Somebody told me there's 10 construction cranes going on in Chicago now. Some of them are skyscrapers. This one's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories. So far, 5 stories. There's a brand new construction here at the corner of Des Plaines and Lake Street. So there's the highway here. There it is. There's the, so hey, 1227, we made it. And I got this new construction here. Looks like it's gonna be, does anybody know what this is gonna be? There's the train. Here, we'll cross the street here. Waiting for the cars. So Des Plaines Street's one way to the south. Yeah, look at that big boom there. So the Haymarket, in 1886, there was a violent altercation between the Chicago police officers and the emerging labor rights movement that started in Chicago in the 1860s. Randolph Street used to be a big market where people would truck in goods and stuff, and so a lot of people gathered, and this will tell about it here. Here it is. We remember, there's all the unions and stuff here. This is the Haymarket Monument, site of the Haymarket tragedy. May the 4th, 1886, a tragedy of international significance unfolded on this site, Chicago's Haymarket Produce District. An outdoor meeting had been hastily organized by anarchist activists. A lot of them were German Americans, to protest the violent death of workers during the labor lockout the previous day. So people had already died in a labor lockout with altercation. Spectators gathered in the street as speakers addressed the political, social, and labor issues from atop a wagon and stood at the side of this monument. So there was a wagon right here. This is Des Plaines, just north of Randolph. See, Randolph was the old Haymarket. Spectators gathered in the street as speakers addressed the social, political, and labor issues from atop a wagon to this location. When approximately 175 police officers approached with an order to disperse, a dynamite bomb was thrown towards the police. So blood was spilled here, and eventually I think 6 people were hanged. It's very murky and controversial, the trial. And it was really horrible, their deaths. They purposely didn't get the weights right, and they strangled to death, and people had to watch for minutes as they expired. And it haunted the people that had to watch it. It was by the old courthouse there, and the labor rights movement, and it led to, eventually there was a strike in Pullman, the march for the 8-hour work, like children's labor laws against children working in stockyards and losing their fingers, working in the factories. Often the children were given the most dangerous jobs, sweeping underneath the machines while they were working. It was horrible labor conditions of the industrial movement, and that's, we take for granted all these things like overtime pay, 8-hour work week, OSHA workplace safety laws, and don't forget, and you might not like unions. I know unions have morphed into something different than they originally started as, but even if you're not in a union, we still enjoy these workers' rights that people fought and died for over successive labor movements, and a lot of it started here in Chicago. And that's why the May Day, remember I marched with Drew Drzezinskis, we went in the May Day parade there, because it started in Chicago, and a lot of socialist nations celebrate May Day, but the United States doesn't. We celebrate Labor Day, and we should still celebrate Labor Day because of all these rights here. So here we're in Randolph here, 12:30 here. You're vested in the union, that's good. Yeah, all the union people, Merck. Yeah, thanks everybody there. Yeah, a lot of good Chicago stories there. Big #1 Big Mac meal there. Yeah, Michael. Union power. Man, crew, yeah, thanks everybody for the good comments there. That's why I want to show that to Haymarket. Thanks for checking out the monument there. So hey, we'll head back to, yeah, let's cross the street here. Maybe we'll go to this French market over here in the Ogilvie and walk out through the train station. And then we'll just go back through the loop here. But thanks for tuning in. We already went along the Riverwalk here. We'll cross Randolph. We're out on Randolph. We're crossing Jefferson Street here. And we're going to head back towards Ogilvie train station, one of the second largest metro here. Train station, Alla Vita. There's the elevated train there, the nice Alla Vita sign there, Italian. Hey, I like these plants here. Haymarket, yeah. Look into it. That's a major part of American history there, the Haymarket labor rights altercation there, and we got a nice monument. You see all the unions had their plaques on it. Teamsters and... But here's a lot of what the West Loop looks like. There's a Chicago alley here. We're on Randolph. We're going to head back to the loop here, and we're going to head back towards Michigan Avenue. See, this is the head house for the Ogilvie, where all the trains come in and the platforms. We'll try to see it here. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're on the edge of the West Loop. We're west of the river, but we're still really close to the loop here. We're almost by Ogilvie's train station here. We're going to walk through. There's a French market here. This is Canal Street and Randolph. And there, the French market, we're going to head right through there. We're going to see there's the Sears Tower, and there's the old Citicorp building. Now it's called Accenture Tower. And it's the one of the ways to enter Ogilvie Metro train station. We're going to show you another way here. There's the Clinton stop on the green and pink lines. And the Chicago River's that way, the loop of Chicago's that way. We'll go through the French market here, and then we'll head through the Ogilvie train station. We got 12:33, we got about 89 degrees, maybe 90. It's supposed to warm up. And yeah, you can sit out here, get your nice sandwich here. The French market, Chicago's French market. I've been the Douane market since 2009 here, the Chicago French market, right here on Canal Street. Free parking, they'll validate your parking. There's a parking garage just to the north of here. Free parking. See, here's the vendors. See how it's like this big food court here. And you can just walk around. This is the Ogilvie train station here. Yeah, look at this. You got all the, hey, how you doing? You got all the nice, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's good. Hey, I'm on YouTube, but I'm on TikTok sometimes. But hey, thanks for saying hello. Appreciate it. Thanks for being at the French market here. Yeah, skip the lines here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, info. So here's information. Yeah, they'll hook you up here. Nice ladies there. That's great. See, we got pizza here. We got soup here. Yeah, let's head through here. I don't want to bother anybody eating their lunch here. These are good people here. How you doing? Yeah. How you doing here? The French market here. You get the smoked meats. Yeah. Get Mexican food here. Tamales. Yeah, aloha. Yeah. Aloha. Right here in the French market. Suarez market. Are we streaming okay? We'll just cruise through. I wish I had more time to talk to the people. They're such nice people that work here. They usually say hello. You see they got a place you could sit over here. They got scenes of Paris, France. You could sit over by the Eiffel Tower. And you can sit over by the cathedral here. Look at that. There's everything. We'll head through here. Suarez Market. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm looking. I need to look where I'm going here. So here we'll head out through the metro station here. You see how this is within, they're actually underneath the tracks for the Ogilvie train station. Gourmet pastries here, Suarez Market, grab and go here. Here we'll head out here. So this is one of the ways you can access all the platforms here. See how this one's going to Crystal Lake, McHenry, Waukegan. Track number 5, track number 6, Elgin. This one's going to Highland Park, Crystal Lake, Harvard. We'll head up here. steps are wet. I wonder why they're wet. How you doing? Here we're on track 6 and 5 here. See how we're on the train platform here. So we're in the Ogilvie train station here. There's where the train's pulling out there. See that train's pulling out. Clear stream, clear the rear. Good. Metro Market. Here's your Metro train. See how Metros are double decked? You go to the top there. Yeah, they blend various cuisines, a lot of fusion cooking in Chicago. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing, chicks for free. Yeah, great market there. Yeah, it's cool. Work's almost over. Oh, what did Christopher say there? I keep new comments come in and I can't read the old comments there. You know, I've been on the Metro once there. Chris is almost off the clock there. Good. So hopefully Chris can enjoy the rest of the day there. So yeah, Richard B. Ogilvie Transportation Center. I think Ogilvie ran the RTA there in the 60s and 70s, so they named this station after him. And see, like they got waiting in there when it's cold. This is all the tracks here at Ogilvie. See, we came up. That's how you get down to the market. You go down to the connecting corridor there. And so we're gonna head out. I got to be careful. Sometimes the corporate security doesn't like me walking out here, but we'll try to sneak out here because now we're in corporate space. So here, welcome to Ogilvie Transportation Center. The Helman Jan designed this. This is, you know, look at, I wonder if that clock was saved from the old, there used to be a neoclassical head house here, a railroad station that was similar but different than Union Station. It was the neo-traditional style, not as grand as Grand Central or Penn Station in New York City, but they tore it down just like Penn Station to build this. And this was built in the 1980s, and Helman Jan designed it here. And so here we'll head across here so I don't have to walk across the front. You go down to, you go to the lower level, there's a food court on the ground floor. We're on the second floor mezzanine here because you can connect. This is the Ogilvie Metro Transportation Center here. It's a commuter rail station just at Madison and Canal here, just west of the river here in Chicago. We'll come out on Riverside Plaza. So you can connect with this pedestrian overpass. You know, just you got all kinds of book stands and coffee shops, sandwich shops here. Yeah, you could take the train to Hegwish. I think the trains that go to Hegwish leave Millennium Station. Check the Millennium Station is the Metro Electric, and the South Shore trains that go to Indiana. But there might be a train that goes to Hegwish. I doubt it. Maybe from Union Station. I think most of the trains from Ogilvie go north, northwest, and west. But there might be some that go south. I think most of the south trains go out of LaSalle and Millennium Station, and a few out of Union. Here's 2 North Riverside Plaza. We'll go right through this Art Deco building. This used to be the Chicago Daily News. This used to be the Chicago Daily News building. Think of the Tribune Tower. Chicago Tribune built that for their headquarters. This building's actually larger. It wasn't all used by railroad offices or newspaper offices. They capitalized on their location to build a bunch of commercial office space that people would want to rent at that time because it was near the commuter rail station. But now, since people work from home, it's not as valuable as it once was. Location. But this is the Riverside Plaza building. Used to be the Chicago Daily News, which was a competing newspaper. It was eventually consolidated. I think the Tribune bought it out, or the Sun Times. I forget which one. You can look at the history, but look at the vents here that push out heat around these doors in the wintertime. You see how we exit right here by the Chicago water taxi stop. Remember, we take the water taxi sometime. You get out here and you can catch it down there. And there's the architectural tour boat. We're right across from the Civic Opera House. Lyric Opera Bridge here, Madison Street. There's the Mercantile Exchange. And see the Civic Opera building. Here's Riverside Plaza, 2 North Riverside. Look at this amazing Art Deco entry. And it's like 2 legs of a wing here. And this is the main building here. Again, speculative office space that was built in the 1920s since it was so near the rail station. And they built it on railroad air rights. This is all railroad air rights, this plaza. There's railroad tracks underneath us. The same with these buildings. There's railroad tracks underneath this, underneath that. That's why the tuning fork building shaped the way it is. Hey, look, here comes the water taxi. Yeah, Maria, how you doing there? How's Zach? Apple Crisp? Lambie T? Where's Lambie at? Yeah, Michael. Here comes Lucia. Yeah, here comes the water taxi. Right? See how the water taxi can dock. Let's get to the side here. You can show you how the water taxi docks right below us here. Hey, they got the umbrellas out. It's hot. See how the water taxi's pulling over to the side here. Hey, Riverside Plaza. Chicago. It's pretty hot. There it is. There's the Lucia. We're back at this is the South Branch Chicago River. See how it's going to dock right there? That's the. It'll probably continue on to Chinatown. It probably came from Chinatown. It'll continue on to Michigan Avenue. There, see, they got a roof terrace up there. Look at that beautiful Art Deco Riverside Plaza. So we'll head across and we'll head back into the loop. We got over 15 minutes. We'll do the usual path back. We'll just head down Randolph. We'll sneak upstate. We'll go by the Chicago Theater, and we'll head back to Michigan Avenue. So we'll probably skip Daily Plaza today. But Thursday we're doing Lollapalooza. I found my wristband. They did send it. Got that right? Yeah. You get what you voted for. Yeah. Not everybody can be a billionaire. Not everybody can buy elections. You know, I know people misunderstand me. You know, I want people to be prosperous. I don't want the economy to tank. I want any president to be successful that runs, you know, the United States here. I don't want us to hurt our standing in the world with pissing off the rest of our allies. You know what I'm talking about. But, hey, look at this. There's the architectural boat heading through here. Fort Dearborn, Chicago. We're on the Randolph Bridge here. See, we just came out over there. There's the Madison Street Bridge looking south on the south branch of the Chicago River, the Lyric Opera here. But the reason I am so apprehensive about the growth of the stock market is it's because it alters our politics. Wealthy corporations and wealthy billionaires like Elon Musk have too much power to control our elections. Because of Citizens United, that the Supreme Court, they said money speech. So Elon Musk has a lot more speech than we do because he has a lot more money and he has a lot more influence. So are we a government of the people, by the people, for the people? Or are we a government for the corporations, of the corporations, and by the corporations? And I argue that they have been successful, that they, no matter which party's in power, they benefit either way. And through both parties create debt, which ends up in the stock market. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, you know, and I don't know what the answer is. We got hard choices. You know, we've been talking about this debt bomb that never happens. Every time there's a crisis, we just, you know, print. It's bipartisan. Both parties do it. You can't say one party does it. Both parties do it. And here's the Sears Tower looking south. And I really feel like neither party represents me completely. And I think most people are in that situation. We mostly vote against the party we fear the most. And there's things we fear about both parties because both parties can have, you know, excessive, you know, one way or the other. But here we'll head up. I should have went up along the Riverwalk there. I usually don't go this way, which is good. So YMCA. I don't know what that Seagal is. There's Market Creations here. We're on Whacker Drive here, south of Randolph. See, I thought I was on Randolph. I was on Washington. I was wrong. My dyslexic brain fails me again. But here's, you got the Market Creations here. There's the Bank of America building here. Hey, Julie Reed there. Let's see. Oh, my comments were all the way back to the beginning. So I got to scroll there. So where is this at? Scroll up in the comments. You'll see the word Chicago several times. So with a little effort on your part, I appreciate you asking. You could figure out where we're at here. Usually I say Chicago about once every 2 minutes here. So thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. We're at Randolph and Whacker. It shows you the limitations of social media, including my ability to communicate via it. Here's Randolph and Whacker Drive. We'll head through the loop of Chicago. We're heading towards the Chicago Theater and the Nederlander Theater. We'll go past the Palace Theater. It's kind of a theater district here. That's why I like walking down Randolph. They got this nice outdoor seating underneath the overhang here. 155 North Whacker here. So we'll head through here. Moynihan, how you doing there? Yeah, Lollapalooza. Yeah, I'm only doing Thursday. I'm doing Thursday. We'll get the lay of the land there. The rest of the weekend I'm watching it on TV. And maybe we'll do Fiesta del Sol on Saturday. We'll see. Fiesta del Sol is a neighborhood festival there in Pilsen. They got a lot of rides and music and food. Usually it's nice and hot, but it's supposed to be pretty pleasant this weekend, even for Lollapalooza. So we're getting blessed with good weather. Well, there's a really good view of the Sears Tower here. Beatrix Market. You're too old for that. I'm too old for Lala. Switzerland's tuning in. That's great. I like when people tune in from all over the world. There's the elevated train heading up Wells. There's one goes one way, one goes the other. You see the Palace, Cadillac Palace Theater. That's where we're headed there. We're on Randolph Street. Here's the CNA building. There's a merger with the railroad companies. But here, look at that nice view. You get to the Sears Tower there. 1,400 feet tall. We're looking down. This is Franklin Street. We're crossing about a few blocks north of it. Over 400 meters tall, the Sears Tower, the tallest building in Chicago, built 50 years ago. And there's many other. It was the tallest building in the world until the Petronas Towers were built, and after that, now it's only half as tall as some of the buildings in the Burj Dubai and some of the towers in China and Dubai there. But here's the people using the bike lanes here. And Upa Chicago here. We'll head past the seating. Francois Frankie. Carousel bar.
Oh yeah, that would have been shit, man. We were solo here next time.
Does that bar spin around? Does it really go around in a circle? I can't tell. It doesn't look like it's spinning. But here, we're Wells and Randolph. Maybe we'll get another train going by here. Japan's tuning in there. Yeah, that's great. Konnichiwa. You got Yuma, Arizona. How you doing there? Seattle, thanks for tuning in. Zoom Patrol, appreciate you. Yeah, you've been tuning in from Seattle there. That's great. Sorry I missed you there. Tony, yeah. Pop Art, yeah. We went by Pop Art this morning, but it wasn't open, so maybe we go by there tonight. We could swing in there, but I usually, you know, why am I promoting other people's businesses there? There's, I like promoting Chicago-based businesses. Here's, we'll get the train going by here. This is Wells and Randolph here, Chicago. I'm a fool for trains, planes, and automobiles. Here's the Palace Theater, Cadillac Palace Theater. It's underneath this hotel. A lot of these theaters, they would combine it with a hotel or office space. There was a lot of mixed use with the, especially if they were in the loop here, because the locations were so valuable that they would combine the theaters with either a hotel or a commercial or all three. Mixed use development here. Goes back over 100 years. Cadillac Palace Theater here, showing Beauty and the Beast. There's the marquee there. Yeah, the red line used to go around the L, but now it goes into subway. Around World War II, they created subway lines for the blue and red line. So the red line goes through a subway through the loop, and the blue line does as well. But you can transfer to the red and blue. Easiest to transfer to the blue at the lake, Clark and Lake Station here. But here we're at LaSalle Street. So let's see which way we get the light here. So here's LaSalle Street. Here's this great view you get looking to the Board of Trade there. Look at that. Go ahead. We've done, you know, a lot of times we'll pick a day, we'll just walk down LaSalle Street and show all the historic financial district of Chicago, the Board of Trade, the futures market, the commodities exchange. Eventually the mercantile exchange was developed out of this. LaSalle Street, a lot of it's being converting to housing. This is the Thompson Center. We've been showing the progress of the construction there. Helman Jan designed this. It used to be government, state of Illinois building, Thompson Center. Now they're making it Google headquarters there, but there's the Board of Trade. All roads lead to the Board of Trade. Here comes the #1 fire engine there. Look at that. Yeah, right through the loop. There it is. Yeah, the Dark Knight Batman view. Yeah, they filmed with the police in front of there. Yeah, for the Dark Knight, you got it. See, he's working on the ceiling there. So, looks like they're going to put a layer of glass on the exterior of this exoskeleton Helman Jan designed, this big atrium. And I like it. It's looking better. I was worried about it. It looked kind of, see, there's going to be, I don't know if vapor barrier is the right term. I'm not an architect. There's going to be an enclosed space within the structure that's going to hopefully keep the cool air cool in the summertime and the warm air warm without escaping through all this glass. And see, they're going to have thermal sections where they could, I guess, isolate the air better. But there's the curtain wall going on the outside of the new Google here. This is Randolph and Clark here. We've been doing the progress of the construction here. And I can't wait until this is open, maybe next year or the year after that, where we can go inside that atrium and you have the food court. You can connect all the trains there. There's Clark Construction's doing this here, the Thompson Center here, new Google here. Let's get across the street. So that sounds like they got some live music at Daily Plaza. What time we got? 12:55. Let's just take a peek through here. Let's see what's going on at Daily Plaza. A lot of times I lose my copyright because if they're DJs, they're playing good music, and I'm worried about that. So let's see if I can look through the glass and see if there's a big crowd or not. And if there's not a big crowd, we'll skip it. But I think they got a DJ there. They're probably doing, hey, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. That's great. See friends and neighbors there. People saying hello. Yeah, it looks like they got a DJ and they got a few chairs set up, but I don't see too much going on here. Here at Daily Plaza, Jay City Walk Girl shows how they put a fencing around the fountain there so people don't fall in the fountain. Yeah. So here at Daily Plaza. Yeah, they're singing here. Yeah.
Look at how far I come. Always shows me to run. Look at how far I come. Used to be in the back seat, now I'm in the front.
Yeah.
Been on the block with the Fifi, now with the Lord by spiritual war. No spiritual, no talebearing. Fake friends, now we on the witch hunt. Converted to the Lord, let my life done. Had to get my best Raise up. Abba show me I'm different, friends zone. Talk about business. Speak the truth if you hear it, truth. Talking that spirit, you know a wise woman gon' hear it. Look at how far I come. Look at how far I come.
Very nice. Yeah, they got some flags here. How you doing here? Yeah, how you doing? Yeah. Got some flags here. So I would love to stick around, but I got to get back to work. I got 12:57 here. So, hey, that's nice. They got some live hip-hop there. They had some flags and things. Usually throughout the summer, every day, there's either a DJ, live entertainment, and Thursdays they have the farmers market. Friday they have the food trucks. Sometimes they have cultural dances, and we saw clogging. We saw, what else did we see there? And I can't keep up with all the. Oh, we saw boxing. Remember they did the boxing there. They did the boxing demonstration right at Daily Plaza at lunchtime. That was nice. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. We're just showing scenes of the city here. July the 29th. 2025, a Tuesday here. We're just heading down Randolph Street past the Nederlander there. We went all the way to the Haymarket Monument on the edge of the West Loop there. So if you want to see that on displays there, it talks about the 1886 Haymarket historical labor rights movement event that happened there. And here's the Nederlander Theater, site of the Oriental Theater. Previous to this and previous to that, it was called the Iroquois Theater, and that's where the horrible fire happened in 1905 or around then, early part of the 20th century. Here's the Block 37 here, and we'll head straight through here. There's the Blick. Oh, I stepped on the grate and it tilted. Surprised me it wasn't totally affixed. But here we'll get across. Well, actually we'll stay on this side. I want to stay on this side of State Street so we can film the Chicago Theater there. Hey, delivered every single building. Ed, you know all this stuff. You can help me out there if I don't know the building. You probably know it better than me there. Yeah, the Daily Center. Yeah, the Obama Presidential Library is being built in Chicago. We got reruns on TikTok. Message me. I don't know if you follow me on TikTok as well. I'm on YouTube here, Brian Really Chicago. I'm on TikTok, Brian Really Chicago. Chris and I went down to the Obama Presidential Library. Springtime, we filmed the Osaka Japanese Garden there in Jackson Park, and that's where the Obama Presidential Library is taking shape. It's pretty large. We'll have to go back down there. It's not finished yet. Probably won't be finished until next year for sure, but they're making progress on it. I can't wait till it's finished because then I'll give you a full tour there. But hey, let's go past the Chicago Theater. We're at Joffrey Ballet here above the Walgreens. This is Randolph and State, loop of Chicago. We got about 89 degrees. It's getting up to 90 something. Here's Gene Siskel Film Center, State Street, the Red Line subway stop. But here's the Chicago Theater. Zakir Khan, Chris DiStefano, Moho, Brooks coming to the Chicago Theater here. Michael Learns to Rock, August 27th here. And then on the other side is Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr is going to play at the Chicago Theater there. Isn't that amazing? And so, yeah, maybe we can sneak across the street here. There's no trucks parked here. Look, look at the Ballabon and Cats, Rap and Rap. I think it's Ballabon and Cats. Well, they got a plaque here. Here's the marquee for the Chicago Theater. Rap and Rap, 1929, Page Brothers Building. John Mills Van Osdale, architect. 1872. So the original building goes back to 1872, right after the Great Chicago Fire, and then they added the Chicago Theater to it. And 1921, that's when they built the Chicago Theater. Rap and Rap, Page Brothers. So the original building was 1872, and then they changed it. But here, look, Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr and his all-star band here. Chicago Theater. You can go to the Torture Museum here. $31.99. Grim Evil's been to it. Highly recommends it. Go to the Medieval Torture Center there if you want to have nightmares. See how people were tortured throughout the Middle Ages. There's the Chicago Theater there, Ringo Starr. What, September the 10th there, Sam Morrill. They're already booking stuff in October. But here, we'll head back here along the Lake Street here. Let's see if we can get one more view of the L train here. Yeah, sometimes people got connection issues. It's on your end, sometimes it's on my end. Usually my mods let me know if we got streaming issues, hopefully. But I'm about to wrap this up anyway. So there's a food truck there. We'll head east on Lake Street. Yeah, Harold Washington College. Harold Washington College is right there. Harold Washington College, corner of Lake and Wabash. A lot of people went to college there. Nice community college here, Harold Washington College. Of course, we got the Harold Washington Library, Harold Washington Cultural Center on 47th Street. We've been to all of them. We got the Bud Billiken Parade coming up, so I'm sure if we go down there for that, we'll go back there again. That used to be where the Regal Theater was. There's still some historic theaters on the south side, but we lost the Regal Theater. There's still some other ones that remain further south. There's some people that posted videos of their Malik the firefighter, or the photographer there. And here we'll head across Wabash. Look at Wabash Street here. Loop of Chicago. We'll go by Elephant Castle. There's the Trump Tower. Here comes the train. So this is the view I want to get here. Here's the pink line. It's a short train. So here's the pink line rounding the bend here. Heading over to Wabash here. See, scenes of the city. Yeah, it looks like they're working on the sidewalk, so I'll stay on this side here. We should be able to cross. But there's they went a pink line heading down Wabash here. Yeah, we'll cross right here. We'll cross underneath the tracks here. There's the Jewelers Building, the Trump Tower, Elephant Castle here. Yeah, there's the parking garage. It looks like a hood of a car there. We were here in 2021. Hey, that's good. There's a few more people on the street. It was pretty empty there after the pandemic. I remember when I first started streaming in 2023, it still was pretty empty walking even downtown. There's more people, especially in summertime there. Yeah, Grant Park, we go by. You can check out my reruns. Yesterday I made that private, but last 2 weeks ago we went by the Bean. And there's many videos of Buckingham Fountain. They got it closed off for Lollapalooza now anyway. Grant Park's all... Look at this truck swinging around. Hey, they're towing the car there, the Volkswagen. There's the J.C. Rivera's good work here. Here's Garland Court. We'll head by the Broken English Doctor Club here. There we go. They got all this outdoor seating. We saw this. This was packed for Cinco de Mayo. I'm with the band. Yeah, Lollapalooza. See, they're all starting to advertise. But we'll do Lollapalooza on Thursday. Hopefully at lunchtime we'll just be able to head in there. I found my wristband for Thursday. I'm only going one day. I'm not going all 4 days. I'm too old for that. But here's... we'll go in there, get the lay of the land, see how it's set up this year. And then we can we use that content all week long. There's people go to it. Here's the Wrigley Building, looking up North Michigan Avenue here in Chicago. There's Michigan Avenue, Street Wall. Look at the line. Look at the people waiting here for Nutella. I'm always amazed the line for Nutella. Nando's has the windows closed because it's warmer today. But here's people waiting in. Go to Nutella here on Michigan Avenue. There's the number 3 bus there, King Drive. Nutella here. People got Smart people got the umbrella. They only let a few people in. You get your name right on the jar there. Here, we'll cross here. But hey, thanks for joining me on the little tour of the loop there. We made it to the Haymarket. If you missed it all, the Haymarket Monument there on displays. You can go to the live tab there on YouTube and rewind it. Thanks everybody. Thanks to my mods. And thanks to everybody. The regulars, part of the lunch bunch here. We'll be on TikTok after 5 o'clock tonight. We'll reverse this and head home and see how hot it is, and we'll see how the rain's coming tomorrow. So, okay, have a great rest of your day there. Thanks everybody. Yeah, we'll see you soon there. Thanks to Loris and Darlene and Married Fishheads, Michael, all the Michaels, Chris, Anita. Thanks everybody there. Yeah, David Bostic. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot, everybody. Order #1 Big Mac meal. Okay, we'll see you there. Tony.